Hey everyone! So I feel like I'm cheating today because I'm using a lot of things that I already have, like these envelope faces are what were left from our franken paper, the tatty tabs we made, and the doily. Look, all of that on this piece, and it's just a writing spot. And I've done a lot of sewing on the front, but I did most of it before I attached my back piece because I don't like when there's sewing all over your writing spot. So there's that one. And I just took one of these pages. I got these a long time ago, so I can't tell you exactly what they are. They came in a big stack, just like this, just writing papers. And I got them from Temu. So I took my sanding paper, or my little sanding block, and I just roughed it up. Just roughed it where it would look, the flowers wouldn't be quite so vibrant. I think you can tell I've roughed some. So that's how I did that one. This one was my inspiration, and I'd done this a long time ago. It's just some scrapbook paper that I had tea-dyed, and I just stamped on it, follow your dreams, did a little stamping on the envelope, and did a fabric tab. This one is the one I showed in the last video, and again, I took some of that tea-dyed paper, and I just tore out a piece of a digital, and inked around it, put a little piece of lace, put on our button that we made, and a tatty tab. Did some stamping. Nothing special, really. And the ones I'm going to do, show you how, because I think it's pretty explanatory how I did it, but I thought I would show you anyway. And again, I'm notorious for not making notes, but I think it was Stella or Jill that said, because I said I didn't love this, and they said, well, just beat it up. And I love that terminology, beat it up. So that's what I did. I tore holes in it, I distress sprayed it, and now I like it. Now, and I even did a little bit on the back, but I like it because I had colored in some of these areas with watercolor pencil, and now I'm okay with it. I like it again. But so what I'm going to use today, I'm sorry about the reaching. I have some more pages that I tea-dyed. And they're not pages that I would normally use. And my plan was they would be a backing for something because they were really pretty. The tea dye was. But I wasn't real crazy about this side. So either I'll cover them or I thought I could use them in this way. And this is one of the sheets. Kind of reminds me of a travel theme. So I'm going to use a Tim Holtz piece with that. But I thought I would go ahead and start showing you, and I'm sorry about the glare from the windows. I don't know how to stop that. But this was a flashcard. You can see the back that I took coffee filter, a used coffee filter. And I have a really old video where I was showing how I cleaned my coffee filters before I collaged them to something. So I did that to a flashcard, and then I just put sticker. This is washi from the washi tape store, and put that on here. So what I'm going to do, I took one of those faces. Like I said, I had several left from our franken paper, and I'm going to go ahead and sew it. I'm going to sew it now. And then, because I don't know that this would be really easy to write on, so I'm going to sew it, and then I'm going to back it with one of these sheets that I wouldn't normally use. And it's going also around the edge of it, but I'm going to sew this towards the inside, and all I did was go ahead and ink it. I did a little bit of my ledger stamp. Looks like maybe she's carrying a briefcase, so I think she's kind of an accountant kind of girl. Maybe she's dressed down today because she's casual. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do with that one. I'm just going to sew around it, and then I'm going to come back and glue this piece to the back. And then I said I was going through my ephemera box of things that weren't finished, or I was going to change them up to meet my style that I have now. And I had some of these book page tags. And all this is a book page that I have folded over like this to make it sturdier, and then cut the corners. So what I thought I would do, I had some of these were with the skinnier window. So all I did again was just ink around it. And I'm going to leave that little tab because I'm going to fold it over, I think. And I'm just going to put it behind one of these windows. And I'm going to go ahead and sew. I'm going to do the same thing for this window. And as you can tell, these pieces are, you know, they're not white, but they're not real distressed. So I'm going to just ink over them a little bit. And again, these are going to be so simple. I'm almost embarrassed to show this, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use these two. I'm going to glue them to the back just like that. Looks like I have a little bit of flap there, don't I? So I'm just going to grab some stickers. And this is already shiny, you know, from the window. So I'm not going to worry too much about my sticker being shiny. I'm just going to try to find some stickers that will fit in those windows. I just have a little sticker book here that I'm just trying to see what I think will fit. And I think those two will just be perfect. So before I sew around the windows, I'm going to go ahead and put this to my paper. And it really doesn't matter if it's even with the window because I can fix that, you know. It's a long piece, so I can just always even it up the way it needs to be. Like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing, oops, on this other one. Just put it on this book page. And then I've already inked around the windows too. So I'm just going to glue that down. And I use art glitter glue. And probably trim these down a little bit. Someone said they had some trouble getting the art glitter glue to stick to this window. Now I haven't had any trouble. And I'm going to keep this piece that I just cut off. Because you know what? Look at that. That's going to make a great tab. And we're going to use that as the tab. How easy is that? I feel like I'm cheating because, like I said, I'm using everything I already have. Not really making anything. I'm just taking the things we already have made and making a writing spot out of them. I'll end up trimming some of that off. I just go ahead and trim it now. I'll go ahead and trim that extra. Actually, I'm going to tear this because I like that. Well, I'm not doing a very good job of tearing it, am I? There, we got it tore some. Now I'm going to cut my book page so it doesn't, I mean, it could show, it doesn't matter. Cut a little bit more. Then I'll ink around that real heavy. I'm not going to tear anymore just because I like that pretty tea-dyed paper, but sure wish I could find my ink. This is not the right color ink that I want, but I'm going to use it. It's a little darker than what I wanted. I like it for stamping words and things like that. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and use my... Oh, there it is. Now I find it after I've already inked. I'm going to go ahead and use my script stamp. So there is that piece. Easy as can be. And I'm going to sew around that, but I'm just going to keep them in a pile until I'm ready to sew. Okay, so the one that I'm going to do this for, I'm going to go ahead and glue it down because I'm going to sew around the edge of it too before I put my backing on. I let that one just be kind of torn there. I like that. Give that one a minute to dry. I'm just trying to show a few different ways that you can, things you could put in the window. Now this one, it has really good, it's real clear. It doesn't have a lot of stamping or anything on the outside of it. So I might just leave that. I'm going to tear that a little bit, not on purpose, but I like it. I may not stamp this one real heavily. I may just let it be writing space along with the back. That's how I did the window. And like I said, if it's not stage on, even if it is stays on, as long as you wipe it right off, it's fine. But what I'm going to use for the underneath of this is some of our scrappy pieces that we put in a big bunch and made them all different colors. I'm going to use a piece of that as the background. And not to mention, it's tea dyed, so it'll make a really, really cool writing spot. I think I'm going to go ahead and sew around just the envelope before I glue this on, because I don't know that I'm going to do a lot with that other than just let all this stamped goodness shine. I really like it. Wonder if our coffee cards are big enough to go in that window, because that would look neat too, wouldn't it, to put one of those business cards. But it's a little bit small. Yeah, it's just oh no, that would just go right across it. Now you would have to back this, or I would back it with some tea-dyed paper for more writing, but that's something that we could put in the window too. Okay, so I have, oh wait, 1, 2, 3. I have 4. Where my little Tim Holtz guy went to. There he is. I don't know where my envelope that he went to. Maybe I used it for one of these. Let me grab another big window envelope. I know I've got more. This is a really nice one. Look at all that good coloring. It looks like it's been stepped on, but it hasn't. It's just tea dyed. I might leave that part of the flap. I don't know. Maybe it will add a little something. If it doesn't, we'll use it for some labels somewhere. Maybe it will be our label. Or, you know what it could be? I could leave it there and it could attach to the side of a page. That would be a nice idea. Maybe that's what we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to ink around this one. Going to be our Tim Holtz guy. And I painted his flowers, I don't know if I already said, with just a watercolor pencil, just to give it something other than total black and white. And this is the paper I'm going to put behind it. But before I do that, I'm going to ink around it and sew around the window. Okay, so let me go sew these. And then I'll be right back. They already just look neat to me. I just love the grungy. I feel so much better now that we're doing grungy. Okay, so I've done a lot of sewing. Get you in the camera here. And I've done a lot. And I don't even care that it's on the window some. I think that just adds to it. I just love it. So I've done a lot of crazy sewing. And you don't have to know how to sew. Just do it. Because if you do grungy, then it just doesn't matter what it looks like. It really doesn't. The grungier, the better. Really. Some of these have such pretty markings. I'm probably not going to do any stamping on them. Um, not much, I don't think. I think I really like the way that it looks. So if I can find my, here's my piece I want to glue to this one. I can find my little Tim Holtz guy again. And I have some words here I want to stick by him. He's right here. Okay, here we go. I'm using this one because he has some really cool shoes. And I think that he's probably a little bit, I mean, to me, if you can wear them kind of shoes out in public, you are awesome. And you speak confidence. So, I'm going to glue him down first. Then I'm going to cut my words. I probably should. That's his hat. Oh no, that's his hat. Probably should have made some marks or something where I could be sure and put him back where I wanted him. But, you know, why do it the easy way? I'm gluing down his feet. You know, you could always cut them off or whatever. Before I push that, I'm going to make sure I've got that in the right spot. And I do not. Come down here, little fella. Don't worry about that extra glue. It will dry. But I just thought with this luggage and all, and this kind of looked like it was travel themed. Maybe it all kind of went together. Now where do I want to put the words? I'm just gonna just cut them and hope I get them good. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks good. Now this one I'm going to have to glue down because it doesn't feel like it has a lot of sticky, and I don't want it to drop down in our window. And I'm just going to glue around the edge and the window. Like I say, I'm going to sew as well, but I don't want it to come loose either. This is the one we're going to flap around our page maybe, so let's cut this. Probably should have done all this before I glued it down, but I didn't, so here we are. But I didn't really glue it that good either, so that's okay. So learn from me and don't do it like this. So that's how I'm going to do that. Probably don't do it that way. What do you think? Yes? No? I like it. And do a little bit more inking where that's showing. We can always add more, a cluster or something when we put it in a book. But I like this. I think I want to leave that. So like I said, either it will end up being, should have inked around this, shouldn't I? I hope you guys are learning from my mistakes. I'm making a lot of them tonight. So I'm just going to sew around that outside edge of my paper. Let's see. I will probably, yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and cut this off. That way I'll know exactly where to sew to catch the bottom of it where I'm not guessing. And that's still enough to fold it around the side of a page. Okay, so I like that. Now we're going to put some on the back of this one. I'm just going to mark where to cut it because actually, nope, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down first. I just said to learn from my mistakes. I guess I didn't learn because I don't want to do it that way. You know, I'm liking this right here. Like, you know, I think she's a traveler. What if I just I don't know. I like that for some reason. I'm not going to cut that off yet. I am going to sew around this and see what it looks like. And if it doesn't look too wonky, I may end up leaving it as a great big writing spot. I don't know. We'll see. Now, this piece was our tea-dyed paper that we put our strips on. What I had planned for this one. Something like this. And I'm going to tear around this too, because I want it to look more torn than cut. I'll leave that piece up. I mean, I don't even care that it's raggedy. I mean, it's a really cool writing spot, I think. It's just a neat writing spot. But I did want to add some fabric tabs. And on the other one that I done, you know, last year, whatever, my inspiration, I put some packaging on the inside of the inside of the fabric so that it wasn't just loose, you know, and flimsy. It has more, let's see, you can see it's stiffer because there is a piece of packaging in there. And I kind of liked that. I kind of liked that it was a little bit stiffer. So I think I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to get it grunged up a little bit more. Maybe take my sanding block. Rough those edges. I mean, I could tear it too. I know that. But I'm going to tear this side just to make it look grungy. Now I'm just going to take a piece of this chipboard that just happened to be laying here. And I don't need the whole thing. It doesn't have to be the full size. Just a little piece of it. Like that. Let's see, it's need to be on this side. I'm going to glue it to this wood piece, or this little cardboard piece. Not a lot of glue, just enough that it holds it still while I'm sewing. And then I only did it to one side. That way I'll put it on here. And I guess that tab is pretty long for that. But I thought that green fabric went with the inside. You can see all that in there. But I think that tab goes pretty good. So I'm going to use that. And then my Tim Holtz guy, I'm just going to sew around him. I don't think I'm going to put... I want a tab on him. No, because I'm going to fold him to a page. Maybe. And then this girl, I got a piece that I thought would go good with her shirt. But now that I might leave this on there, I mean, what kind of writing spot is that? That's not a good writing spot, is it? What would you do with this? Would you fold this over? Or would you leave it? I just think this goes with the picture. So I'm going to sew around it, and then maybe you guys can give me ideas what to do with that. And then I'm going to put a little fabric piece on this one. I think this fabric piece would go good with those flowers. And I think I'm going to sew it on there like that. And then maybe do some of these in the sewing. Some of the threads that came off of it. What do you think? All right, so I'm going to do some sewing and I'll be right back. Before I show them all to you, I want to show you this one that I messed up first so I can be fixing it and let it dry while I think I'm going to cut some of the strings. Anyway, fixing it and letting it dry while I'm showing you the other ones. So, as you can see, I ran my stitches down through there because I was trying to stay with this. And then I decided I didn't like that, so I took it out and just sewed around the edge, but I'm left with these holes. So what I thought I would try, and this, you know, this may not work and it may just look worse, and I might wish that I'd just left it alone, but I'm going to use some of this washi tape I found, and I'm just going to glue it on there. And I left my glue stick out, so it may not be wanting to hold very good. So I'm just going to kind of go over it. And I'm going to let it wrinkle because I don't care that it's wrinkled. I mean, the grungier, the better. And I'm just going to tear it off like that. And I know that doesn't look good yet, but just wait for it to dry. We're gonna sand it and do some things to it, and it just might look great. We don't know. We're gonna try it out. But I also forgot to use my tab. I wanted to use my tab on one of these things. And I didn't sew it. And I've got tabs on the ones I want to have tabs on now. This has the flap. I don't know what I'm doing with this one still. That's way too big to put a tab on. I'll just hang on to that, and it will be a tab at some point in time. So I thought this one looked kind of neat, and still I'm having a hard time taking this side off because I think it just looks so neat. Maybe you guys can give me some ideas on that one. And here's our Tim Holtz guy. And learn from my mistakes. What I should have done is taken my sander on these lines and grunged them down a bit because they're really too bright behind him. But that's okay. And then here's the last one, and I thought this one turned out best. And I didn't use the fabrics there. What I did was I put them on this one. I sewed them into that. So these are the 4 we made today, and I think these are so neat. I hope that you like them. I know that they're super easy, and like I say, I kind of cheated because I used all the things that I already had, but let's see if we can work on that one a bit. I hope it's dry enough. I haven't really left it very long, but we'll mess with it, see what happens. So I'm just going to take my sander and kind of go over that washi. And it might be hard to tell that I'm even doing anything, but you can see the difference between down here and up here. And I learned this trick from Gail. I saw her doing it on something, not fixing a sewing error. She was actually making some really neat charms. So I think I'll do it like that, and then I'll just take my inker, kind of go over it really light. And what do you think? Does that look better? Or do you think I should have left it alone? I think it looks better. I love it. I'm fine with it. I really do. I like it. Like how it turned out. And I think that was a happy mistake. Okay, guys, I hope you liked this one. I know that it really wasn't. I've used envelopes a whole lot. Seems like I use them all the time. And you're probably getting sick of junk mail envelopes. But I hope you like these. I hope you give it a try. And if you made the franken paper, you probably have some of these windows left that you can make some of these too. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.